All right. Hi, everybody. I wanted to start my talk off by asking you a question. So, how do you get somebody to do something that they don't want to do? For example, I've got a couple kids. They're 9 and 5, and as every parent knows, most of your job is just trying to get your kids to do something that they don't want to do, like clean up after themselves, wash their hands, brush their teeth, or even using the toilet, right? And just like when we were toilet training our kids, people at the office are resistant to change. And with the advent of cloud technology, it's really changed the way that we support systems. Infrastructure is becoming less and less important, and the code is becoming more important. And that's because application errors are more common than errors relating to the underlying infrastructure. And so organizations are having to change the way that they do modern incident response, and software engineers are becoming more and more involved in that process. But not everyone's on board with these changes because software engineers hate being on call. I mean, shit, everyone hates being on call because on call sucks, right? But in today's environment, those engineers are really vital because they're the experts in the code. So my name is Adam Lefkowitz. I have been at VictorOps for about 4 years. We got acquired by Splunk about a year ago. We're located outside of Denver and Boulder, Colorado. I know the conference has been in Denver the last couple years, but I'm happy to be out here. I went to school out here, so go Aztecs. But VictorOps helps organizations with their incident response process through our software platform. And many of our customers have already taken this approach, but what I wanted to talk with you today about is really how they've approached this to overcome some of that resistance, because when they do, they've seen higher deployment speeds, higher service availability with fewer necessary rollbacks. And one thing that we've heard over and over is that if a software engineer might get woken up at 4 a.m., then their code quality suddenly improves and you see fewer incidents. But before we get into approaches, I wanted to talk a little bit about organizational change. You're going to be asking software engineers to do things that, that suck. They don't really want to do it. And so if you're going to be challenging the status quo, I recommend that you have a clear vision that you can communicate on why you're making these changes. Then let the team decide how they want to implement that. And what that's going to allow you to do is get ownership at all levels. So you have leadership giving that vision on why you're changing, and then you can get some advocates at the team level to help get buy-in and make these changes. And you also need to communicate impact. So not just the business impact, hey, we're going to have higher availability, but also the impact it'll have on the existing teams that are already on call, right? If you're going to share the burden, it's going to help them out. And so if you can talk about the business impact and how it's going to impact their colleagues and friends, you can get buy-in. You've also got to provide training. And I'd recommend building out a support system so when those engineers are on call, they know what to do, because a lot of them, haven't been on call before. So, it's a really stressful, high-risk situation, and they may not know what to do in every single situation, so that support system will certainly help out. So once you're able to communicate that vision and get buy-in, it's time to come up with a plan. So most of our customers we've seen go about this gradually in stages, but every organization and team is different. So some skip stages or some do take this gradually. And the first stage is really around, we just need to be able to reach these engineers during business hours. So this is a good way to introduce them to the incident response process. It avoids a situation where they're going to be woken up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and it gives them a partner to work on that particular issue with. And then stage 2 is really engineers as an escalation. So the existing on-call teams do receive those alerts still, but they're able to reach out and get in touch with the engineers when they're unable to remediate the issue. And so that avoids alert fatigue because engineers won't be woken up 20 times for a flapping alert. But they need to be on call and available even after hours. And then stage 3 is really around routing incidents directly to the team that's responsible for the application or service. That's going to get the alert in the hands of the experts as quickly as possible. So hopefully you can, remediate that issue as quickly as possible, and it's going to, share that burden with the existing on-call team. So with the advancement of cloud technology has really kind of shifted the way the types of alerts away from infrastructure-focused alerts to ones where we're measuring application performance, which makes the code more important. And software engineers are vital in today's incident response process because they are the experts in that code. So, it's not easy to do, but if you're able to implement this, you're likely to see higher deployment speeds, higher serviceability, fewer necessary rollbacks, and just like, toilet training a toddler, people in the office are resistant to change, so communicate the impact and that vision, and once you do, you can come up with an approach that's really going to work for you, whether that's going gradually or kind of diving into the deep end. So thanks everybody, I really appreciate you guys attending my talk.